We are live with the latest on the developing situation with WWE's high brass, their executive board, investigating allegations made against Vince McMahon and everything going on with him. Also, allegations made against John Laurinaitis. We have the latest update on this developing story as it goes and the fallout from it within the company. What has been the reaction to it? On top of that, we have the latest on Jeff Hardy. What is going on with him in AEW? Randy Orton, he could be on the shelf for the rest of the year. That is the unfortunate news we're getting today. And that isn't all. As we move on, we talk about what's going on with Sami Zayn. This is actually not a negative story to cover involving someone in WWE doing something pretty interesting, which is pretty weird and compelling when you actually think about it. Plus news about WWE 2K22 and the future of WWE 2K as a property in the video game world. A lot to get into. Don't forget to share the link. You stink!
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Watch out, watch out. I'm looking over here. Don't worry. There's another screen with all your comments on screen here. And stuff like that. Let's get right into it. I'm Kellam. That is Jeremy Bennett. Watch out for the people that are with us for the first time and the last time. Don't make it the last time. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're with us on Facebook, make sure you turn your notifications on to know exactly when we go live with all of our shows, including Top Story. We're supposed to do 5 of them a week. We're going to end up doing like maybe 6 or 7 by the time the week is done. We did do a breaking news episode that ran late last night on the Sasha Banks story. No update on that today. But if we do get one while we're live, we'll certainly run with that within the time that we have today. We will cover this Vince McMahon story here in just a second. News about Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy in AEW. It's been a very wild couple of days, hasn't it, Jeremy?
Oh, my Lord. Yep. It's only getting crazier. And like we said last night on Top Story, it's only going to get crazier with all this fallout from the Vince McMahon thing. And then throw on top of that the Sasha news that we got last night. So it just keeps piling on. And then, of course, we'll get into the Viper later, too.
People asking where Santos is, asking where is Jose. Jose will join us at some point.
He is on his way. He's doing an interview right now. Probably will join us in about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. Let's get into the latest on this Vince McMahon story. Of course, Vince McMahon under investigation internally by WWE. He's not under a legal investigation. That's worth noting, by the way. I know some people have already rushed to the conclusion. But no, he's not under any legal investigation at the moment for having an inappropriate relationship, possibly, with someone within the company who was then promoted. Was that person promoted because they were dating him, or were they It was a consensual relationship, according to Jeremy Bennett, the lawyer for WWE. And whatever that an NDA that was made by him in that party, he paid for that with his own money. Now, the issue is the promotion obviously involves people getting more money, so that's an issue. Then on top of that, you have other NDAs that are being explored that involve people with John Laurinaitis. He's the head of talent relations. He was also the head of talent relations in the past for WWE and left the company.
People power.
Yes, that guy, people power. So we're getting more updates about the internal reaction to this news. Obviously, there's been some public reaction to it, kind of veiled by some parties. But let's get right into it, Jeremy. What's the latest?
Oh boy, strap in your seatbelts. We got a lot of different things to cover in this whole thing that is kind of strewn out throughout the day within WWE. First off, it was reported that by several different journalists and things that had found WWE's code of conduct, which is public, and within that code of conduct, it states things that are prohibited include inappropriate physical touching, but also the grant or offer of an employment quid pro quo for personal intimacy, which is exactly what is being alleged here, where the woman in question was given a raise, given a promotion for these sexual favors or whatever. And so this is a direct violation of the code of conduct. So that was one of the stories that came out today. Another one was Kevin Dunn, and this was actually a rumor killer.
For legal purposes, Jeremy, I'm going to say we don't know if that's being accused. Okay? Yeah. So we have to say that as someone who's doing this legally, we have to say that's not the case. We don't know if that's being investigated, but people are kind of like, hey, look at this dot that connects over here. You know, that type of thing.
One thing that was hot to start the day off was the fact that Kevin Dunn unloaded a lot of stock day of, prior to the news breaking from the Wall Street Journal, because
Kevin Dunn, longtime WWE executive, head of production, talent production for a very long time, for decades. He's one of the most high-ranking people in WWE,
and likes to do 85 camera cuts in a minute.
Oh my God, camera cuts! It's such a problem. That's a major issue. Yeah. So what's the issue with him?
In one room with one TV with one shot.
Yeah, that was Rick's
Jose just joined us
in prison.
He drops the stock, right? A bunch of stock. He unloads a bunch of stock. He owns a lot. He sells about 15,000 shares. Yeah.
Yep.
So the word is that he was doing insider trading, but he has not been on the board of directors for years. So unless someone from the board tipped him off to that, he is clear of insider trading. So he could still be, if he was tipped off on it, that's still insider trading. But right now, as of now, he's not on the board of directors, so that's going to be free and clear of that. So then we move on to other news. Backstage news on the communication of the story to the WWE roster. According to PW Insider, the only message that the talent received about McMahon and John Laurinaitis was a text message that used similar verbiage to the internal message that was sent to staff members yesterday. Of course, we reported on that and what that had meant yesterday, everything that went on in regards to that. On top of all that, Vince and Linda McMahon's $4.1 million penthouse in Stamford, Connecticut now appears to be up for sale, which again, well, fuel the rumors of, are they together? Apparently people caught on to the Pat McAfee interview a few months ago where
they got those tweezers out, huh? They got those
tweezers slipped up. McMahon slipped up, apparently. It said wife at the time, and rumor is they're separated. That was according to Uncle Dave earlier today on the Wrestling Observer, that they're separated. Now, we got all of this shit right now. And on top of all of this,
just in case you needed a little bit more, just in case you wanted a little more.
On top of all this today, it comes out that Vince McMahon and Oliver Luck cannot reach a settlement and over the XFL, and now that is heading to trial as well.
Oh my God.
Woo.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon is in deep caca.
His lawyers are going to be making some dough.
He can afford it.
But here's the thing. Also, I think this isn't me defending him. He's also a guy who's probably, like, because of his position of power, is almost always having some standing legal issue, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like, if it wasn't this, it'd be just stuff that we just hear about that just gets brushed off.
Probably.
It's yeah. You mean? So
the thing is that this is something or something that's been going on for years, and we're just finding out about it.
True.
Yeah.
So there's still so much about this that we don't know. What we understand it was a consensual. Dude. Hang on. We understand it was a consensual relationship. That's what we're told. That's the public information that we have, right? How public that relationship was, not exactly clear. What type of relationship does he have with his wife? Is this something where they were separated and it just wasn't a public thing? All right, that's people's private lives. It's different things like that. Now, when does that influence your business? That's a clear point we have to discuss here. And how is this going to affect him? Now, obviously, the Sharks are swarming. Let's just talk about this. They're, damn Vinny in trouble. This is, as we've heard from, sources reporting it, people are calling this the greatest threat to Vince McMahon professionally.
He's getting canceled. He's getting canceled on Twitter right now.
Who?
He's getting canceled on Twitter.
What does that actually mean?
I guess people cancel him, right? Like when people are fed up with, oh my God, this is such a travesty.
How many times has he been canceled on Twitter now? Well,
by the wrestling Twitter a million times, like every week on Raw, every week on Raw and SmackDown.
I'm not watching WWE anymore because of this.
Yeah, but you're tweeting about it. So
the biggest thing here,
if anyone, the most canceled person on Twitter is Mr. McMahon.
Probably.
So the
biggest thing here is the fact that it appears that Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis broke the code of conduct, which is grounds to be removed from the company by the board of directors, with the whole promoting this woman, giving her more money, kind of hushing her.
Allegedly.
And the thing is, the question we got to ask ourselves here is, was this affair or this relationship, this consensual relationship, happening before the policy change or after the policy change?
And plus, it may not have
forced the policy change. That's the thing.
It may not have been an affair. We don't know how long him and Linda have been separated. They may have been separated for years.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's apparently they might have
You
been.
have separation agreements. There's a lot of people who stay married and have a legal separation agreement.
Word is they might have been separated for a while now. So
Yeah.
that might be the least of his worries is his wife. The most of his worries is this code of conduct, all this other things. What they
Kevin, I got
out.
another word for you for this. You know how yesterday we said the chisme? We got another one today. This is called El Bochinche.
Can you translate the El Bochinche?
El Bochinche is big gossip. Big
gossip.
The big stuff.
But
Speaking of other languages, you notice how they quietly got rid of Raquel Rodriguez's finisher move because because Chingona, that means badass, doesn't it?
No, so Chingona, yeah, that means badass, right?
Okay.
But the Fox executives mistakenly thought that they were saying chinga tu madre, which is, go F your mother. Which is so they thought, so that's why there were so many bleeps a few weeks ago.
Yep.
When
and then they
the
changed
Chingona bomb.
Then they changed the name.
Yeah, they changed it to Tejano bomb.
I would like that'd be an awesome name for a finisher, the Go F Your Mother finisher. That'd be great.
Kevin's
let's get into the comments here.
As hard as he can.
Amnesia
saying he's going to have to get Johnny Depp's lawyer.
Shit, Vince got his own lawyers. He beat the steroid trial, so
yeah,
he'll probably beat this.
So what I heard is Ruben Draper. What I heard is they can't fire Vince. They can ask him to step down. We don't know about that. That's just pure speculation. There isn't any clear line on that as well. People saying Vince McMahon, you're fired. Backstage morale is so bad right now. We simply don't know that. By the way, we don't know how bad backstage morale is.
That was reported by Nia Jax months ago that everybody's miserable in the WWE. But
yeah, and then we talked to people in WWE, and I didn't get that impression at all. So it's like I think people that are miserable are people that just got let go and are pretty vocally angry about it. So it's a conflicting report there. And other people chiming in, that's a great finisher name. They would love to see that great finisher name.
Go F your mother.
Oh my God, the GYFM.
I know who could. I know who could use that finisher. I know who could use that finisher after last night. It's Christian, because he got into it with Jungle Boy's mother off camera, and
I did see that was a killer clip.
That was pretty good. That was a good exchange between those two.
David Sampson saying, "Vincey, you got some explaining to do."
Got some explaining to do, Lucy.
Yeah,
Vincey.
And then you have people like Ricky who are just boldly anti-Dewey, anti-Vince McMahon. So, and that's another thing is like, so it's so hard to decipher people putting stuff out online about this and not know if they're just trying to go for the head. Just this is no different than like presidential scandals and stuff like that too. That's what this feels like.
I
don't know. I don't know, man. But
it depends on what the definition of is.
I did not inhale. I did not inhale.
I don't know, man. This smells like a coup d'etat to me. I said it yesterday. I'm gonna double down on it.
I was only there for the hot tag, and that was it. But now,
Mr. Laurinaitis, did you do the Eiffel Tower? Were you doing something you weren't supposed to be doing?
No. Vince would not let me do the Eiffel Tower because I would sneeze. He hates sneezing. So
this is real journalism, Kevin. This is real, powerful, impactful journalism straight to your ears and to your eyes.
Vince was too intimidated by my physique, so he did not want to be in the same room as me, so he just gave me the hot tag, and I went from there.
Okay, we're going to take that as is. As if we don't have enough bad news to cover. Randy Orton. We heard that Randy Orton was dealing with some type of injury, and now we're getting more details about it. And unfortunately, it looks like the injury is going to be a little bit more severe for the 40-plus-year-old, soon-to-be WWE Hall of Famer, coming off a red-hot streak that really revitalized him in WWE. Not to say that he needed it. It did a lot, and it was an interesting take on him as a performer tag teaming with Matt Riddle, and they formed the RK Bro tag team, which got way over, and it's been a hot babyface tag team. They dropped those titles to the Usos, who unified, and they now hold the Raw and SmackDown straps. He's going to be on the shelf, and the word was that he would get some break, he would rest up, he would heal up, whatever that injury was, and then he would be primed to take on Roman Reigns and be a real strong competitor, which would be compelling because, Randy was revved up at this point. Now we get word that he has a back injury, and the severity of it could require surgery that could put him on the shelf for the rest of the year. Cody Rhodes on the shelf. Roman Reigns already, positioned in the sense where he's just kind of like a featured part-time player. He's got both your world titles. And you don't have one of your biggest veteran superstars who can cross the aisle for casual fans, hardcore fans, doesn't matter when you aren't. Randy Orton's pretty well respected in that regard. So you don't have him. This is a big blow to WWE's locker room right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fightful Select with the report saying that he's been dealing with his injury for quite some time now, to the point where work actually had work done to improve his condition before that tag team unification match with the Usos. They were not sure of the extent of the work that was done, but Fightful was told that things got progressively worse. WWE fears that Orton will be forced to undergo surgery on his back. Sources said that if that happens, he'll be likely out of action the rest of 2022. Thus far, the exact injury is unknown. Fightful has told Randy Orton isn't factored into creative plans for WWE at the moment after being slated for a huge role this summer. Orton appeared on the recent internal injury report for the company and has been off television since they lost to the Usos roughly a month ago. His former tag team partner Riddle has been moved, of course, into a title program with Roman Reigns, which culminates in a title match on free TV this tomorrow night on SmackDown. As of last month, Orton had been pitched and heavily figured into the SummerSlam plans, probably against Roman Reigns, which then Roman would probably be successful and possibly go on to clash at the Castle against Drew. So now we're possibly looking at several months without Orton. So, that's going to be the sweeter the return when RK Bro reforms, because the WWE Universe loves it. So we're going to be waiting for that moment. And who knows when that's going to come, if it's at the Rumble or if it's later on. But, hopefully Randy can get better. And, of course, his dad, Cowboy Bob, spoke to Sportskeeda. He spoke to us and stated that he's got a bit of a back problem. He'll take care of everything and rehab and everything. After more than 20 years, wear and tear on the body, it's just too much.
Got to feel for him, man.
Yeah, I mean, now you got to look at who's going to step up. If Randy Orton's not going to be there, who's going to step up? You already have Riddle in this position where if he doesn't win this match, he doesn't get another shot at Reigns when he's as the world champion. So what does that set up? Does that set Riddle up for something in Money in the Bank?
You wonder if they're pulling off a big swerve tomorrow and Riddle wins.
Oh wow,
you got to wonder.
Yeah, you do have to wonder, but also Riddle not only stepping up, but you're also seeing the new generation, from the old black and gold NXT taking over the main roster now with Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and the Judgment Day. They're in prominent spots right now. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it.
No, they need to elevate Ciampa a little more. Actually, give him an entrance, give him a story. They can do something with him. They just haven't yet. Theory has been
fire up Drew McIntyre big time right now.
Theory has been doing a hell of a job as well. You got guys like Madcap,
franchise player, man.
You got guys like Madcap Moss, who is my breakthrough wrestler of the year so far because he's just consistently had great matches. You always have the veterans like Sheamus you can lean on. Of course, him with Fight Night has been a stable on SmackDown with Ridge Holland and a Butchie boy. So there's a lot of talent there, and they got to step up, and some have already.
Let me put it to the chat. Let us know what you guys think. Do you want to see Riddle win this WWE Undisputed Universal World title? Let us know what you think. Sami Zayn has been kind of like campaigning and doing this ridiculous conspiracy theory act, which has now evolved into him being, I think, one of the most exciting and entertaining promos in professional wrestling right now. He is now advocating for himself to become a member of the Bloodline. And he wants to become a member of the Bloodline faction, even though Roman's not there. He wants to be in the Bloodline. And he has taken this to another level at WWE's recent live events, where he is now performing all of Roman Reigns' moves, from the spear to the Superman punch to the ooh-ah, and all of it. This is quite ridiculous. This is right up Sami Zayn's alley. This lines up with the silly stuff he was doing at WrestleMania with the Jackass match, something that he's called his Andy Kaufman moment.
Yeah, that was good too.
People say funny doesn't draw money, but Sami Zayn is very funny and he's worth it.
Yeah, he is.
I think it was a wild idea a few weeks ago, but I think Rick Ucchino might be onto something here now.
What's Ricky's prediction here?
His idea was to have Sami Zayn win the Money in the Bank ladder match, and use it as a guise to protect people from taking the title off of Roman, where in turn he may use the bloodline to get to Roman and actually use that briefcase on Roman and win the title. So that that was a wild theory that he had there a couple weeks ago, and now that you see him doing this stuff,
we're looking at some footage right now for the people on the podcast side of Sami Zayn hitting all these moves and him just goofing around and doing all the taunts. He's going to try and do spear right now on Drew McIntyre through a table, but he does land it. Okay, all right, cool.
So you got to wonder if Rick might be onto something here.
It'll be interesting. It's certainly entertaining. It's certainly like desperate and entertaining, like just the real chicken shiz that you expect from Sami Zayn.
Sammy's great.
Some great stuff from him.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah,
put some water in that hair though. That thing is thrown out like Carrot Top.
I like it. Too much wet hair in wrestling. Too much wet hair. Yeah, Bret Hart. Yeah, Roman was perma wet hair. Come on now.
I wonder if that's like a prerequisite to get into pro wrestling. You must have long, greasy, wet hair.
Seth Rollins would do it all the time.
I think it's cooling when you're in the ring. That's one thing I heard from people that have done it. It's cooling when you're in the ring. But leave it to the two bald guys to comment about why they have wet hair.
Yeah, you guys are commenting on hair. Ha!
Yeah. WWE 2K22 has been fairly well received. More downloadable content coming out from it. It looks like they're going to stick with the 2K studios here. And there's been some change, though, in the WWE 2K team. Obviously, Jeremy, you are well into the world of video games, having worked in it. What's the latest on this?
Patrick Gilmore, who helped be the director of WWE 2K22, just joined them. Oddly enough, I think maybe used this as a resume builder because he was able to help get WWE 2K back out of the doldrums after a disastrous 2K20. And so with the well-received 2K22, he has now decided to move on from 2K and Visual Concepts and decide to take his talents elsewhere. So I think it's very interesting that basically got the game back on track and kind of used it to leverage a better job for himself. So well done.
Good for him, man. I mean, this is the thing that happens in entertainment all the time. Yeah. And you set yourself up for something by really changing the course of somebody else. I think the 2K22 game, I've been able to play it at a buddy's place, handles really good. It handles a lot better than the previous game that everyone had an issue with. And it's fun and it feels like a wrestling game and it just gets the course back on there. I think with wrestling games, people are like, I want this new thing, but you have to have all these things in it that I love from previous games. It's kind of a hard franchise to serve because the expectations are so high for innovation, but also so high for things you've done in the game before that have to be better than they were before. It's kind of a lot to think of. It's, WWE and its audience is no different than Star Wars or Marvel or DC. I love these characters. What are you doing with them? You have the mantle. You have to live up to the hype. That's pretty hard.
And that's why you got to, temper your expectations for the AEW video game. It's a lot of the features and creation stuff is going to be pretty bare bones in the first game because it takes a while to build that stuff up. WWE's had many years under the 2K banner now to be able to provide
the issue is, Jeremy, I just don't think people are going to be that forgiving in that regard. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the hype is real and you have to live up to the hype. Perceptions become reality.
Yeah, but you also got to realize you can't just snap your fingers and everything shows up from the ground up.
Yeah.
So.
No.
And gaming is a lot more critical now too. Gaming is a lot more critical because there's a lot more gamers now, and the gamers that actually get paid and stream on Twitch, they are going to be a lot more critical on this type of thing. We got film critics that critic movies. You got these gamers that critic these, and you know what? They're going to let you know if it ain't working.
We'll see. So let's jump into this closing story for today. Odd week for AEW. I thought Dynamite was fine. The build to Forbidden Door has been fine, I would say. We have some cool stuff with Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. But the big AEW story this week was the unfortunate DUI arrest, the third in 10 years for Jeff Hardy, one half of the Hardy Boys tag team. This is supposed to be their final run as a tag team, they have stated. And unfortunately arrested. We don't know the full legal ramifications of this, but Hardy could be looking at some serious consequences to this in terms of legal issues here. Of course, Tony Khan putting out the edict publicly that Jeff will get help. They have offered it, and he has responded to that. Whether or not he takes it is not confirmed at this time. He does have to maintain sobriety and clear up this record to return to All Elite Wrestling. His brother Matt will perform at AAA Triple Mania coming up this weekend, one of those big events for the major Lucha Libre promotion. Hardy was supposed to appear at that event. And then we had last night's Dynamite affected by it. There was supposed to be a triple threat ladder match. Fantastic match. The highlight of the show, absolutely.
Dax and Ospreay was the highlight.
I love this ladder match. I thought it was really
breaking news.
Like I said last night, it was good, but it wasn't great.
Breaking news, even more stuff falling out from the Vince thing. Another investigation is coming to WWE. Scott and Scott Attorneys at Law just put out a press release just now announcing that the law firm will investigate whether certain directors and officers of WWE breached their fiduciary duties to WWE and their shareholders. So yet another investigation coming to WWE in light of what what Wall Street Journal had broke here yesterday. According to the press release, it says Scott and Scott Attorneys at Law, a national securities firm, is investigating whether certain directors and officers breached their duties to WWE and its shareholders. If you are a WWE shareholder, you are encouraged to contact these attorneys.
Okay.
Then I shall.
They'll answer the phone when they're done chasing.
It's just like old Sterling, or what's his name?
Do you have a back injury? Do you have a neck pain? Call me now.
Have you
Jose Gonzalez, and I will defend and get your rights and get you the compensation that you need.
Or like Smart Mark. Have you been speared by Wardlow? Are you a security guy that's been attacked by Wardlow?
Have you been kicked in the face by a wrestling boot before? You deserve compensation.
The Saturday Night Live sketch is my absolute favorite. Is Will Ferrell being the lawyer with Chris Parnell that sues dogs, and they get dogs put down for biting people.
Oh boy!
Have you been by a dog?
Yes, exactly. It's not okay if this man does it, so why is it okay if a dog does it?
So back to the Hardy story before we got that breaking news. The plan was to put the title belts on them.
Yes, the plan was to put the title belts on them. And adding to this Hardy story is more reports from Fightful that are just dire and upsetting. We don't want to pile on because obviously there's a lot of sad news already this week. The Vince McMahon story of this. To be clear, there are people who are going on the record with Fightful saying that they have not seen Jeff Hardy in the best of condition and of clear mind during WrestleMania weekend, and that he may have appeared to be under some type of influence. Now, mind you, that isn't confirmed, but there's people saying it on the record. So that isn't good. Then you have people that are worried about his condition going into AEW Double or Nothing. That was he ready to go then? We know in that match he got injured and possibly suffered a concussion of some kind. Now you have people trying to make some really out there speculative accusations, none that can be confirmed, but it has to make you think this is not good. And I don't know what this means for Jeff Hardy's wrestling future. I'm not writing the guy off because the guy's bounced back several times in his career from these issues just like this. But has he asked for so much rope and there isn't any more rope to grab? AEW saying, take care of yourself, get clear on this. But the problem is the legal burden on him is very, very high right now. And we don't know how severe and bad this is going to get for him.
Yeah, I think this is a bad situation for Jeff. I think I said this yesterday, that he can face up to about 5 years in prison, maybe more, because of these violations that he's had and what's happened recently with his DUIs. And taking that into account and his history, it's going to be really hard, I think, for Jeff Hardy to do anything for the time being. I think
it's going to be a while
before we see him. It's going to be a few years before we see Jeff Hardy And if we do see him back, I don't even think we see him back in a wrestling capacity, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard telling, but it's definitely not going to be a future with him at all.
No, and it's sad. It's not like
it is.
There's no joy. There's no, ooh, I told you. You know, this isn't like, this is what you get. Like the crowd that's like, oh, that's what you get for leaving WWE. All that.
The people wanted to see them have that last run, and they really truly didn't get that fully.
And also, like, to have another run in WWE would be cool, you know, and to have like a WrestleMania moment and a Hall of Fame induction. Those Hall of Fame induction can happen, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, also, you're not going to do that if this guy's in prison. You're not going to be doing that if this guy has to serve prison time. And you're not going to be doing it like right when he's out of prison. No. And this is a guy who's 44, you know, who's gone through wars in the ring. So it's very dire. And you know, all the positivity and love to him and his family at this time. It's just very
absolutely.
The only positive is he didn't injure himself and he didn't injure someone else in this circumstance here. Roland Curtis with the super chat. Thank you so much for this support, Roland. Yes. Any Sasha updates? Any Sasha updates? I heard her lawyers are involved. Listen, I heard the lawyer tweets and I've seen those too. No one's going on the record with that. No one can confirm that. That's purely speculation. I have heard and talked to people that have worked with WWE before and have had those talent contracts. And sometimes a lawyer does come in and negotiate some type of thing on a release, some type of issue. 9 times out of 10, that does not change the 90-day window if they release your
deal. No, it won't be a 90-day window though, because their contract will be up within that period. So
as far as we know, you know what I mean? We don't know if when her
no, they can't give her 90 days if her contract's up by then. They can't legally do that.
No, they can't.
So the most they're going to be able to do that is if they freeze the contract for the 30 days since she walked out. So then it's more like a August type of situation after the contracts run out type of deal.
Mm-hmm. Do you add that 30 days to the non-compete period and stuff like that too? The only thing I can say that's relative to this in terms of a comparative thing is I've dealt with this in radio, and I didn't have to sign one, but it was talked about, and I didn't have to sign one. So it was like, oh, I guess if you guys thought I was going down the street to a different radio station, maybe that would have happened, but that didn't happen. So I've been around these. I've talked to people that have had them. There are things you can negotiate with them. You can negotiate a release with some non-competitive elements to it, and it can be favorable for both parties, especially when you don't want to do business together anymore. We don't have any real updates on it beyond that, though. There's no real updates. We don't know if her lawyer's been involved. Honestly, she hasn't gone on the record, and WWE hasn't confirmed it either. But some very verifiable sources, specifically Raj Giri, have said that they believe that she's been released at this time, and they're just waiting to make that announcement or at least finalize terms of her release too. So
tricky situation, man. Tricky situation.
A lot of happy, positive news to cover today in wrestling, right? I'm sorry.
Hey, man.
It is what it is.
All we could do is put a smile and say that we appreciate all of you guys that are watching. Make sure you slam that like button because I see 139 of you watching right now.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate all the love. We are halfway to 31,000. We're at 31,500 subscribers on YouTube. We appreciate you. Help us get to 31 by
32
smashing or
32.
Yeah.
We're launching a brand new show called Wrestling Outlaws. This will feature Road Dogg Brian James. He will be on the show.
You didn't know?
With another member.
Call somebody.
I'm trying to read the promo copy. Road Dogg Brian James. I almost said Jesse James. Road Dogg Brian James going to be with Vince Russo every Friday. That'll be on our YouTube first, and then it'll be popping up on our podcast channel sometime after that. You can check out Vince Russo reviewing Monday Night Raw live right after Monday Night Raw on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel and our podcast channels, along with the content we have as well on Friday nights, late Friday nights after AEW Rampage and WWE SmackDown. Dutch Mantel going on the record with us. Most of those shows for the people on the podcast side of things, we tend to get those without like audio wise within like 12 hours, depending what they are. A lot of extra content as well on the channel this week. Gerald Briscoe speaking with us, Bret Hart, Trish Stratus saying some alarming things about how it'd be nothing at all for her to defeat Becky Lynch in a return match.
Just gonna slide on in.
Nothing at all. Also, check out our other side channel, Wrestle Binge, where we have some deeper dive content as well. I'm going to get into a super chat here from Santos C. Thank you so much, Santos C. Shout out to the home of Macho Man Randy Savage, Downers Grove. Santos C says,
Oh, yeah.
dig it, western suburbs of Chicagoland. Oh, yeah, dig it. All right. So Santos says, I am previous substance abuser and have clinical major depression disorder and battle every day. God bless you, Santo. I know friends that deal with those same issues that I care about in my life as well. And I completely empathize with you and encourage you in your fight for that. Jeff needs positivity and respect while he fights this. I agree. I've seen, the memes and stuff like that. I'm a comedian. I understand jokes as well. And maybe Jeff is a guy who can joke about this as well. To some degree, he has in some cases. But I agree. I don't disagree with that. Love somebody.
Absolutely.
It's really easy I would say it's really easy to make a bad joke. let me be frank. Let me be specific about that as a comedian, as I'm about to promote my comedy shows this weekend. It's very easy to make a bad joke. It's very easy to just say he deserves this and root for someone and be the mob that chases Frankenstein up the mountain, right? But what is gained from it? What is really gained from it? What are you as a person on the other side of the screen and the other side of the speaker gaining from saying, I hope Vince McMahon loses his job and loses all of his money, and I hope Sasha Banks never gets to be in a movie, and I hope Jeff Hardy gets and I'm putting all of them in the same ball because I want you, when you're that wide-eyed with rage, to just kind of step away from yourself.
Here's
really
something
step
important that
outside
you just touched on. Here's something that's really important that you just touched on, right? When they're saying those things, I hope Vince McMahon gets fired. I hope Sasha. You're just subconsciously telling that to yourself.
Yeah.
So think about that. When you're speaking that, you're telling that about yourself. So is that what you want for yourself?
They just magically think the product's going to get better if he's gone. So that's what that's what people are saying. Hey, if you want something,
by the way, go ahead.
If you want something positive in pro wrestling tonight, Impact Wrestling, Trey Miguel, Speedball, Mike Bailey. That's going to be a damn good match.
We get Riddle and Reigns tomorrow.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
This is two solid TV matches.
Good way to end the week. Good way to end the week.
Good way to end the week. Solid Dynamite this week. We'll be busy with stuff going into Forbidden Door. I will be there. If you're there, come by and say hi. Very, very busy this week. Jose G, what do you got going on, baby? Get your plugs in.
Oh man, I just wrapped up in my first interview for Wrestling with Mindset. That's going to be dropping some point next week. Not going to say who it is because I want it to be a surprise. Ooh. But it shall be. It shall be something that you cannot teach. So.
Oh.
So I hope you guys will follow the channel, follow Wrestling with Mindset on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok. You can follow my own page, Jose G Official. I'm going to be posting clips and teasers leading up to the release of the interview. So
the graphic on here?
Excited.
Nope.
I'm excited. No, I don't have the graphic here, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited to share it with everyone.
Slam the like button before we get off here. Do want to tell you about the cool things we're doing on Twitch. Twitch is literally at the ground level for us right now. We're doing some fun stuff on it with Getting Over with Twitch on Wednesday nights. That's our kind of unofficial debrief. And we go and do WWE 2K GM mode. Jeremy and Jose kind of getting into that every single Wednesday night. We got to do some watch alongs on there. We got to do some other.
Yeah, I think I want to do something for Money in the Bank. I think I want to do a watch along. Maybe
that'd be fun.
Year, but maybe we could do it this year. We could pick another Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
we could do the very first one. That Edge one, maybe.
Oh, that'd be fun. Watch some old ones. I'm down for that. You fire up the Peacock Network with us in one screen and do that. That'd be cool. So we have that. I'm going to be busy this weekend. I had a show tonight, but it got canceled. Gotta love that. I was doing a charity show. And when you do a charity show, it gets canceled. Gotta love you. Promoters and bookers. You got to pay your comedians. You got to pay your acts, man. So that's weird, right? But I am going to be performing at one of the best comedy clubs in the country this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I'll be with Damon Millard. You've heard him on SiriusXM. He's toured the country. I'm going to be with him featuring only the Intercontinental Champion to be holding that main event strap. I'm going to be featuring for him Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. You can get your tickets at MilwaukeeComedy.com. That's MilwaukeeComedy.com. And then on Sunday at 6:30, a special Father's Day show I'm going to be doing also in Milwaukee at Lakefront Brewery. So definitely check that out. You can see the links to that. They were pinned at the top of my Twitter at Kev Kellam. So there we go. My plug is done. The plugs are done. The show is done. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. I want you to go get yourself a snack. Get some yummy in the bank for you, okay? I want you to calm down. I want you to step away from the wrestling news cycle. We're all going to do it right now. We work in it, and we need to step away from it.
I need to step away, yes.
Take a deep breath. Deep breath. Just remember tomorrow, the good guys are going to beat up the bad guys, right? And that's going to be the same as the day after that. And it's okay. It's okay for you to do this one important thing when you're watching wrestling. And what is that, gentlemen?
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, you need to take a deep breath. You need to let it out slowly and just remind yourself to enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Talk to them.
People power.
Max.
Do.
Tomorrow.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!